Hi, everybody. So last week we talked about our dreams and expectations as we start thinking about retirement. We hadn't talked about it in that specific a way before, so we brought you guys in on the conversation. So I think the natural follow up to that is what's the nightmares and worries that we have as we look forward to that time in our life? So I'm assuming that they're going to be similar to some of yours, but we're going to see. Hi, I'm Rich.
And I'm Robbie, and you found our channel before it's too late.
On this channel, we're going to explore some things that are important to us at this stage of our life, Gen Xers approaching retirement, giving it some thought, and we're sharing them with you as we go. So I hope that you are enjoying the content that we're putting out. We're getting a lot of interaction with you guys out there in the community, and we really appreciate that. So if you do like what you hear or you can relate with what we're saying, it'd be great if you'd like this video and subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you know when we put out something new. And really what makes us the happiest and kind of is the most fun for us is reading the comments that we get back from you guys,
Yeah.
on how you either relate or there's more things that you have that we haven't thought about. So please leave us some comments as well. Okay, so in the spirit of being a good gentleman, ladies first. Robbie, what is as you look forward to our time in retirement, what's the nightmare scenario for you once we pull the plug on our work?
That's an easy one for me. And I will be surprised if it's not one of your top ones as well. But really, the thing that I get the most concerned about is will we have enough money? Like, I want to be able to essentially sustain the lifestyle that we have. So that's one thing. Like, I don't want there to be a ton of changes in the freedoms that we have, the purchases we make, the traveling that we make. And this is kind of an ongoing thing between Rich and I, because I am the one that worries the most, probably. No, I am the one that worries the most about money,
About everything.
about everything, yes. But certainly in retirement, I worry whether or not we will have enough to sustain our lifestyle, which I know we will, but I still worry about it. And the other big part, at our ages, I'm 56 and you are soon to be 59. So obviously, if we retire fairly soon, we will have to have health care. We will have to purchase health care insurance. And so then I worry about that too. That's all part of that financial thing.
Okay, and that no surprise to me at all. I knew she was going to say finances. It doesn't matter how many times we've talked to our
I
financial
know.
guy and he says you're going to be fine.
I know. I
Robbie
know.
still worries about it. And
Which will probably in the long run make sure that we actually do have enough money because I will constantly be pinching pennies.
that's probably true. For me, I think my top nightmare scenario would be if I do find myself bored.
Yeah.
And I know in the last video or one of the ones we've done in the past, I said I don't worry about it, and I don't really worry about it because honestly, I don't worry about too many things. But it is something that I think about, like especially if Robbie's still working when I retire. Am I going to have enough to fill up my time without driving myself crazy?
Mm-hmm.
And when I stop and think about it, I know that I can volunteer my time. I know that
Mm-hmm.
there's things I can do to fill it up so that I'm not bored. And I really do want to get back into playing more golf. I do like to play pickleball.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a chance to do it really since we moved down here. So there's some opportunities for me to get back engaged in some of that stuff and keep myself from being bored. But I mean, there's times on a Saturday where I just, sitting here by myself when she's gone doing something. I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? And if that's every day, I don't know how long I can take that. So that's a little bit of a worry for me.
Yeah, that's interesting because that would be my second nightmare that I want to make sure does not happen is same thing, boredom. Like, am I going to be busy enough? Like, I am definitely the person in our relationship that is always doing something, whether it's cleaning or cooking or flitting around or whatever. I always am finding something to do. It's hard for me to just sit and be still. So I definitely think about, am I going to have enough things to do to fill my time? Interestingly enough, if any of you have watched our previous episodes or channels, you are aware that a little over a month ago, I was fired from my job as a nurse in a private clinic office. And so I have had some time on my hands. I am currently still unemployed. I have been looking for work, and that's something that Rich and I will update you on in future episodes. But I have had some time, and it has been interesting for me to be able to just sit and think about, okay, what's my day today, and planning things out. And shockingly enough, I have stayed pretty busy. Now, we've had some other things happening in our lives as well that have kept me pretty busy. But so I'm worried about being bored, but yet I would say this last month and a half has given me a little taste of it. And I think I could probably figure it out. And I don't think maybe it's going to end up being such a worrisome item to me in the long run. But for right now, that still is my number two.
Okay, I think my number two is, and I don't know if I've ever actually said anything about this to Robbie before. I think my number two is I'm worried about being lonely
Oh.
and not. I mean, I have Robbie. That's not it. It's more like I don't feel like I have enough friends
Mm-hmm.
that would be in the same boat as me, like that would be retired and wanting someone to do stuff with.
Right.
Um, I wouldn't say I'm a really social person. Like I don't need to have people around, I guess, to fill my day.
Mm-mm.
But I don't want to play golf alone, right?
Yeah.
And I want, if I do start to play pickleball a little bit more, it'd be great to have somebody to be partnered up with to go and find games, um, or even volunteering places. I mean, that would be a cool thing to do with friends.
Right.
But again, I'm, as Robbie said, I'm 59. I'm hoping to retire sometime in the next couple of years. Who knows when, actually? But most of the people that are around my age are still working,
Mm-hmm.
and and I don't know that that's going to change. So it's I don't want to make it seem like I'm not happy with my circle of friends. I am. It's just a matter of we're not going to be in the same position if I choose to retire early, and
Right.
that's a little bit worrisome.
Right. Yeah, that makes total sense. And he has never mentioned that before. So that's interesting. I think my third thing is loss of, I guess the easiest way to say it would be loss of identity. Like, as I said before, I'm a nurse and I have been a nurse for almost 34 years now, over 34 years, I guess, have practiced in that profession. And that, so I'm a caregiver, right? So that's part of my identity. And not only in the jobs that I have done, but also in my family life and in caring for you,
Of
of
course.
course. But when that is all completely gone, like I no longer have that identity, um, I think about like what is my day-to-day routine going to be like? Like what am I now going to identify in? And honestly, what's been on my heart a lot lately is my identity should not be in my career or what I do as a profession. For me, my identity is Christ. And so it has definitely made me reflect a lot more on, um, I find my value and my worth in my Heavenly Father. And that's where that should come from and not from a profession or people or friends or any of that stuff. So it's kind of been a good thing for me to think about. But definitely that would be my number three in the worrisome things.
I think mine's similar to that. I would think my number three. It's more for me. It's like I feel like the last half of my working life has been, um, yeah, I have a job that I'm doing, but part of my job has been mentoring the next group of
Mm-hmm.
people that will be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to miss that some.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but actually, the more I think about it, the more I think there are some opportunities for me to do that and just not get paid for it.
Right.
I think there are some, through the church or trying to mentor dads or younger dads
Mm-hmm.
or men that are going through crisis in their life or whatever it might be. There are some things there, but that is, you know, I've been one in my job to try to get the people that are working for me to pay attention to doing professional development stuff
Mhm.
so that they're ready for the next step whenever that next step comes. And if there's nobody, like, I'm not responsible for anybody once I retire,
Right.
so I
Yeah.
wouldn't have that kind of, I guess it is kind of identity, like
Identity.
Robbie said a little bit, that identity part of me to fill.
Kind of the fulfillment part of your
Right.
job.
Like it makes
Mhm.
you feel good when somebody that it works for you
Yeah.
gets a promotion. And even if that takes them away from you, that makes you feel good because you prepared them for that.
Right.
And I guess I'm just going to need to focus on finding another way to find that kind of fulfillment, you know, in the world outside of work.
Right. Right.
All that being said, she did mention the financial part. I don't worry about, like,
He doesn't.
it's a, I mean, it's hard to say that, like, we're not rich by any means,
No.
right?
Mm-mm.
But we
But
have a plan.
and we planned starting early when we were younger.
Yeah, we planned. So I firmly believe we're going to be fine. I mean, I'm not saying we're going out and we're building a mansion or
No.
we're taking extravagant vacations in retirement. But I also think I'm a big believer that the first 15 years of our retirement are when we're going to be spending the most money.
Right. Right.
And we have that kind of money put away.
Right.
I just saw something in the last week that Susie Orman did a couple of years ago, I think, where she said she doesn't think you should retire unless you have at least $10 million put aside. And you should plan on having a budget of $350,000 a year in retirement.
What?
Yeah. And I mean, and I'm not going to link to the podcast because I didn't see it. It was actually on another gentleman's channel that talks about retirement stuff where he was pointing this out. And that's just crazy to me. That just seems
No.
like, yeah, if that's the lifestyle you're used to,
Yeah.
is having that kind of money and really never having to worry about, oh, can I afford that?
Right.
If that's never crossing your mind, then maybe you need to have that kind of money. But
Not us.
no, we don't need
No.
that. And we live a pretty simple life. I
Yes.
mean, a well middle class,
Right.
take care of our kids, take care of our family life. And knowing what I know about our finances, I don't worry about that changing at all.
Right.
But again, I knew that's where Robbie was going because she's, we go to the store and she asked if we really need 2 loaves of bread. So, I mean,
Where's the coupon? We need a coupon for that.
so, but that's good. It keeps me in check. I mean, I've never found something dumb that I didn't want to spend money on. I think that's my problem. And she's kind of the opposite direction. So we complement each other in that way.
Yes.
Okay. So that's this week's Nightmares and Worries edition of what's retirement going to look like.
Yeah.
And we hope that maybe you identify with what we're saying. Maybe you and your spouse, your significant other, are on exactly the same page about that. Again, I think our worries complement each other, so to speak.
Yeah.
But if we are missing something that maybe is at the top of your list, it'd be great if you leave that in the comment.
And maybe this would just encourage you to sit down with your partner and talk about it like we did. We didn't tell each other, but it's a good conversational piece, right? As you start to prepare and think about that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, if you're enjoying what we're putting out there, if you would like to see us continue kind of down this road, it'd be great if you'd like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. And again, the comments are where we're really enjoying engaging with you, and we're hoping to keep that up. If you've got any ideas for another video that's in this same kind of lane, feel free to drop that in the comment as well. You know what? And if you've gotten this far in the video, we really want to thank you for watching.
Yeah.
And God bless.
God bless.